Well, champions, I welcome you all to solve top 30 questions from the chapter that is Reproductive Health, and this video is for KCET students who have opted for biology, so don't feel that you are stranded. We are here for you as well. Okay, now the deal is for all. That is, even if you have studied the chapter or if you have not studied the chapter and you have come here to see the video, then whenever I show you a question, you have to pause the video, read the question carefully and try to answer by yourself. As I said, it's for both who have studied and not studied. Why? For people who have not studied, you'll get an idea of what type of question comes, and you have to be knowing the type of options also that could come to make confuse you. Okay, so basically you should be having an idea of that, which is why I am saying after that you can play my video and check your answers or probably understand the concepts from what I am trying to say. Works? In that way it will be really helpful for you, and I am talking about your interest only. Chalo. Sorry, not about your interest, in your interest only. Okay, so consider the following statements with reference to female reproductive system. Statement 1 says, the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or sexual experience. First thing, so it is said that even if hymen is present or it is not present, it has nothing to do with testing the virginity or testing whether that person had sexual experience or not. So is this correct or false? So over here, this is the vagina. Internally, you have a layer which is known as hymen. So people say if hymen is tore, that means that this particular layer is tore, that means that particular lady or woman or whoever she is might have lost her virginity or probably might have had sexual experience and stuff like that. First of all, it should not be anyone's concern whether that person has lost the virginity or not. Second of all, okay, hymen can be tore even without having a sexual experience. For a person who does rigorous exercise, for them the hymen might have tore, okay, or the person who probably does cycling way too much, they also might have their hymen already tore. So this is not something that I can rely for testing someone's virginity or if they had sexual experience or not. So this statement is according to which it says that presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator. It's exactly true. It is not a reliable indicator of virginity or things like that. Now statement 2 says the sex of the fetus is determined by the father and not by the mother. The sex of the baby is determined by the father and not by the mother. Is it true or false? Let's see. So mother always has XX chromosome, whereas the father has XY chromosome. So she can contribute X in one gamete, in another also, whatever gamete she will be forming, she will be making X only. Okay, she will be giving X chromosome only because she just has that. But in the case of father, it can be either X or it can be Y. Now, if this and this gamete comes and fuses, you get XX, that means it is a female. But if this gamete fuses with the next gamete that the father gave, it will be XY, that means it will be a male. Now over here, if you see, the females are always going to contribute one type of gametes, but over here the males are the one that contributes two type of gametes. Now whatever gamete they are contributing, that will decide the sex of the fetus, which is why it is said that the father is the one who determines the sex of the child. Now do not take in literal sense. Okay, so actually why was it said like that? Why is it stressed too much? It is not actually anyone's fault. Okay, we are made like that. Neither the man, neither the woman has any fault in this particular thing. But why are we very stressful on that? Because initially or even now at some places where education has not reached yet, women are still being blamed for the sex of the child. First thing, the sex of the child should not be bothering. Second thing, no one should be blamed for that. But still, to make it much more clear and audible to everyone that woman is not the person who decides the sex of the child, this was put down. Okay, so please do not take it otherwise. Okay, even I feel bad, really bad while teaching. It's none of their problem. Okay, it's not an issue also. So please understand that. But anyways, the sex of the fetus is determined by the father and not by the mother if you talk scientifically. Okay? Cool. So both the statements, are they true? Yes. So both the statement A or basically 1 and 2 are correct. Fine. Next question. Which of the following is abbreviated as ZIFT? ZIFT stands for zygote intrafallopian transfer. Why did I choose the answer first before explaining it to you? Because then only you will understand things. What do you mean by zygote intrafallopian transfer? As in the zygote is put inside the fallopian tube. That is what you mean. But why do we need to do that, ma'am? Basically, this zygote is not something that is made naturally inside the female body. The ovum and the sperm is taken from the male and the female parent, and then it is fused in laboratory condition to bring out this particular zygote. Because probably in the female's body, the fertilization process might not be happening naturally, or there might be some other complication, whatever complication might be there. Okay, for example, there might be no much sperm count, so you took the sperm and you took the ovum in the laboratory condition, you tried to fuse it, whatever, there could be multiple reasons for it. Anyways, the zygote is being made in the lab. Now when I put the zygote back, where should I put it? Where should I put the zygote back? I have to put it in the fallopian tube only, because this is where the zygote will start its division to form an embryo. So I'll put it in the fallopian tube. So this is what you mean by zygote intrafallopian transfer. Do not go with the fourth option, that is zygote intrafallopian tube. No, does not have any sense, right? Zygote intrafallopian transfer as in you are transferring something, and that is what the correct answer is. This becomes a part of test tube baby program. Okay, so this is your answer. This came in 2023. Cool. Next question. An example for hormone releasing IUD is, okay, so something is going to release hormone. What is that something? This is IUD. IUD stands for intrauterine device, as in something that you're putting in the uterus. There's a device that is you're putting in the uterus, and this is releasing hormone. So you have to find that. So is implant something that you put inside the uterus? No, children, it is put under the skin, and also it releases hormone. That is true, but it is not put inside the uterus. LNG20, what about that? Let's keep it there. Multiload 375 is something that is IUD, but it is not hormone releasing IUD. It releases copper. Multiload 375 is the one that releases copper. Lipase loop is something else, which is also an intrauterine device, but it is not again going to release copper, or probably it is not going to release hormone as well. It is just there acting as a foreign particle so that the body could react to it and make the particular uterus very, unsafe for conception. Okay, unsafe or unsuitable, that will be more correct word, unsuitable for conception. So that does not release anything, it's just a foreign particle that is there. Now over here, LNG20 is the one that is acting as an IUD, and it is also hormone releasing. What hormone does it release? It releases progestasert. That is the hormone, progesterone. The synthetic form of it is known as progestasert. That is being released over here. Works? Chalo, next question. MTPs are considered relatively safe during, what do you mean by MTP, children? MTP stands for medical termination of pregnancy, which you also call as abortion, induced abortion. Okay, medical termination of pregnancy. So medical termination of pregnancy is safe during which period? First trimester, second trimester, or whatever is given over here. First trimester means first 3 months. Second trimester means second 3 months. Okay, so in total, after second trimester, you say you are 6 months pregnant. Okay, so basically, when do you think MTP or medical termination or induced abortion will be safe? It is the first trimester during which it will be considered relatively safe. Okay, usually abortion is considered to be safe in the initial period only, but okay, we can take up to first trimester, but not more than that. It will be dangerous for both the mother as well as the child. Cool? Works? Next question. The technique advised by a doctor to overcome the problem of infertility. What is a technique that is advised by a doctor to overcome the problem of infertility? Infertility as in you are not able to basically produce a fertile offspring, or not a fertile offspring. You are basically not able to produce an offspring at all. That is the thing. Infertility stands for that. Okay, so what is a technique that could be suggested by the doctor? RCH, MTP, RTI, ART. You just have one thing, that is ART. ART stands for assisted reproductive techniques. So over here it is not happening naturally, you're resisting, someone is assisting, that would be a doctor, nurse, whoever is there. Okay, they will be helping, the embryologist, the people over there in IVF clinic, they will be helping to make things happen, not in a natural way. Okay, you are taking the sperm, you're taking the egg, you're fusing in the laboratory condition, something might be happening to help you deal with the infertility thing. So it is assisted reproductive techniques that is involved over here. Your ZIFT comes under this particular category. Okay, works? Chalo. Amniocentesis is a process to do what? What do you mean by amniocentesis? So suppose the baby is growing over here in the uterus. Okay. Now in the uterus, no, the baby basically is surrounded by a structure which is like this. Okay, amniotic sac in which you have the baby, my dear children. And this fluid is known as amniotic fluid. So what happens is that in the amniotic fluid, you will be finding certain cells that might have shed off from the body of the fetus. Now what do? You take this cell and then you have the nucleus, you have the chromosomes and everything. So basically you do the checkup for the genetic things, okay, the genetic diseases and everything like that. Genetic diseases and everything like that could be found out with the help of amniocentesis. But people, what do they do with the help of amniocentesis? Anyway, you have the chromosome and everything over there, okay. What do? They take wrong use of it, and now what do? They actually try to determine the sex of the fetus. So I told you, in the case of female it will be XX chromosome, in the case of male it will be XY chromosome. So whenever there is a female, now what happens is that one X becomes inactivated and there is something that it forms which is known as bar body. So in the nucleus you will be seeing one structure like this which is known as bar body. If you have something like this, you say that this child is a female child. If you do not have, here over here there is only one X chromosome, so it cannot be inactivated, so there is no bar body. So in the case of male child there won't be any bar body. So with the help of bar body only this amniocentesis is done, okay, to determine the sex of the child. And to determine the genetic diseases, actually it is to be used, but they are using it for something else, and when this option is not given, go for this option. So amniocentesis is a process to grow cell culture medium, no. Determine any disease of the heart, no. Determine the sex of the fetus, yes. Know about the disease of the brain, no children. Anything that's genetic comes along, but you cannot say any disease of heart, you cannot find it. Not every disease of heart is genetic, right? So that is not exactly true. If you have got stuck there, please understand it's C option. And this is 2022 question. Works? So next question. Select the incorrect statement about contraceptives. So what is incorrect about contraceptives? You know what do you mean by contraceptives? Contraceptives are the ones that would not allow pregnancy to happen, conception to happen. That is what you mean by contraceptive. Okay. Now, we have to find the incorrect statement. So what do you have to do? You have to underline incorrect, because sometimes while doing the question you might try to find the correct option and you might find oh, lots of options are correct. So don't do that. Mark the incorrect thing there and then try to look out for the incorrect option. So they are regular requirements for maintenance of reproductive health. Do you think every person, every single female should be having contraceptives because they have to maintain a good reproductive health? Is it a regular requirement? No children. It is not something that could give you good reproductive health. This is just a contraceptive method where you want to avoid pregnancy. This is not a regular requirement. So the first statement itself becomes what? Incorrect. But let's see the other statement. They have significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population. Obviously, yes, if you are using contraceptives, it does not lead to uncontrolled growth of population, right? If you are not using, it can lead to. They are practiced against a natural reproductive events like conception or pregnancy. Yes, it is going against the natural cycle of the body, right? The possible ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain can happen. Should not be totally ignored. Yes, it should not be totally ignored. So you should not be a person who should be depending on contraceptive without the doctor's notice. You should be talking about it to the doctor, and then only you should be taking contraceptives, because everything has a ill effect as well. Okay, because this is something not naturally being produced by your body. So obviously when something foreign comes into the body, we cannot rely on it completely. So A is the answer. This is 2021 question. Okay, shall we go on to the next one? Chalo. The method of directly injecting a sperm into ovum is called. What do you call this process of directly injecting a sperm into the ovum? So example, you have the ovum and you're putting a sperm into it with the help of a micro needle and stuff like that. Okay, so basically over here this is the ovum and this will be the cytoplasm of the ovum, right? This will be the cytoplasm of the ovum. I am putting it over here. So can I say it as intracytoplasmic, inside the cytoplasm, okay? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, can I call it like that? Yes, I can call it like that, and I can abbreviate it as ICSI, ICSI. It is known as ICSI. GIFT stands for gamete intrafallopian transfer. ZIFT stands for zygote intrafallopian transfer. IVF stands for what? In vitro fertilization, in ET stands for embryo transfer. Nothing has anything to do with the thing that is given over here. It is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, which is known as ICSI. Over here, directly injecting the sperm over there, basically making them fuse and things like that. Okay, 2021 question. Next question. Which of the following contraceptives could be effective in avoiding pregnancy if used within 72 hours after casual unprotected intercourse? So basically, someone had sexual intercourse, whatever it could be, okay, especially this is said in the cases of rapes and things like that. At this point of time, there should be an emergency contraceptive that could be used, okay, that can be used within 72 hours to basically prevent any type of pregnancy. Okay, we do not want pregnancy to happen, okay, and it should be used within 72 hours. So which one of them will be effective when used even within 72 hours? That will be progesterone estrogen combination, my dear children. This is the answer. Okay, this is the answer. When these particular hormones are, the combinations are given, that messes up with the whole cycle. Okay, basically ovulation, or basically what's implantation of the embryo would not be happening over there, okay, in the uterus. So this is the best method to avoid pregnancy, and if it is used within what, 72 hours after casual unprotected intercourse. Nothing else. No other things come under this category. Always remember this combination: progesterone estrogen combination, progesterone estrogen combination. This should be the one. Okay, so for example, naturally when progesterone and estrogen are there, they help in implantation and everything. But when you are providing it and when its amount is way too much, everything becomes a problem. You get it? So that is why I say that it is not something that will allow pregnancy to happen. Even though fertilization might have happened, it does not allow implantation. Implantation as in, for example, embryo has come and now it is going to settle up here in the uterus for forming, for developing further. That does not happen. That does not happen when you are taking this particular combination. Okay, so this is known as emergency contraceptive as well. Cool. Next thing, choose the correct statements regarding GIFT, gift, that is gamete intrafallopian procedure. Let's see. Ova are collected from the female donor and are transferred to the uterus of the recipient. So over here, gamete intrafallopian tube transfer is there. So what gamete you are going to take, children? First thing I want to tell you, you do this in a female who do not probably produce ovum in general, who is not able to produce ovum, or probably the ovum she is producing is not really good. Okay, so at this point of time, what you're doing is that in her body, the uterus and everything is really working good. Okay, there is no problem, but she is not able to produce a viable gamete. So at this point of time, someone is gifting her a viable gamete, and you know that is basically ovum. And whenever you're giving ovum, you're not giving zygote, you're not giving embryo. Whenever you're giving ovum over here, the ovum always waits in the fallopian tube. Ovum always waits in the fallopian tube for the sperm to come and fuse with it. So basically, gift means gamete intrafallopian transfer, where someone is giving the gamete so that naturally the sperm, when it comes, okay, they can fuse, and hence over here, as you can see, the uterus is really good for implantation to happen. It can happen. There's no problem over here. So this part is not being done, and for this part only the help is taken by this particular procedure. So ovum are collected from a female donor and transferred to the uterus of the recipient. Are we transferring things to the uterus, children? No. Where are we transferring? To the fallopian tube. Ova collected from a female donor are transferred to the fallopian tube to facilitate zygote formation in the recipient. Is it so? Ova collected from a female donor, any other female, are transferred to where, children? Fallopian tube. To do what? To facilitate zygote formation in the recipient. So this is the correct answer, but still let's go for the next thing. Zygote is collected. No, children, not zygote. Gamete means it has to be ovum. There is no other option. There is no zygote in there. Again, zygote is there, so this is also wrong. This becomes the correct answer. This is 2020 question. Cool? Chalo. Next question. The method of natural contraception which requires correct knowledge of menstrual cycle is what? Okay, so there is a natural contraceptive method. Okay, you are not giving medicines or you are not putting anything in your body, nothing like that. No use of condoms, nothing. Okay, naturally you are waiting for contraceptive, or it's a natural method of contraception. What is that particular method? In which you should be always knowing about the menstrual cycle also. You should be having a good knowledge about menstrual cycle. When to when is the date and things like that. So is it periodic abstinence? Is it lactational amenorrhea? Is it IUD? IUD is not something natural. It is not something natural, so I'll say this is wrong. Coitus interruptus. What is it? I'll tell you. So basically, periodic abstinence means you are very much aware about the menstrual cycle, and you know that on this particular date, ovulation will happen at that particular period of time. Okay, from here, you take few days from here and few days from there also. And during this particular period, you do not have sexual intercourse. Okay, this is what you mean by periodic abstinence, as in during this particular period you are absent, you are not doing sexual intercourse. This is what you mean by periodic abstinence, and for that you should be having a perfect knowledge about the menstrual cycle. So this is your answer, but let me explain the other things also, because the others are natural, others are also natural ways. Okay, but why for that I should not be having good knowledge about menstrual cycle? I'll tell you. Lactational amenorrhea is when a woman is lactating. Okay, for example, she gave birth to a child and now she would be lactating for few months. At this particular point of time, our body naturally would not allow fertilization to happen because of the level of hormones which are being released in a lactating mother. Okay, so naturally again the mother over in her body, fertilization process would not be happening, but this is not a reliable method. Okay, but again it's a natural thing. Okay, because of the hormonal level being changed, which is why it does not allow implantation or basically fertilization to happen in general. Now next thing, which is why we say that lactating mothers also, they also do not have menstrual cycle going on. Okay, they stop menstruation for some time. Now coitus interruptus is when basically you are having sexual intercourse just before the sperm is being released, the penis is being taken outside the female body such that it does not enter the female body. For that you should not be having a good knowledge about menstrual cycle. There is only one method which comes to be matching both this requirements, that is it should be a natural contraceptive and you should be having enough knowledge about menstrual cycle, so that will be A. There is no other option. Cool. This is 2019 question. 3 of them, they are natural methods, but this is the one where you require the knowledge about the menstrual cycle. Next question. A childless couple visit Assisted Reproductive Technology Center to get assistance to have a child. Okay, they do not have a child. Now they have visited a place, that is art place, where they want to have a child. On diagnosis, it was noticed that there was low sperm count in the male partner. So sperm count in the male partner was really less. Okay, which of the following strategy of art is most suitable in this case? Gamete intrafallopian transfer. So this particular person, the male who is there, has low sperm count. So low sperm count as in I cannot rely on natural methods for fertilization. For example, even when you say billions of sperms are being released, only one is able to go and fuse. So that's why you release billions of sperms. Over here, when you already have low sperm count, there is a lesser chance of fertilization to happen naturally. At this point of time, what can I do? And I already know that there is low sperm count. I can basically take some sperm. And then I can do something that is known as artificial insemination. It is what? Artificial insemination. Artificially insemination is happening, that is the semen is being given to the female. Okay, so basically the sperm is being taken and put in the ovum. That can be done directly with the help of ICSI. So this all comes under artificial insemination. Okay, it is done artificially. It is not gamete intrafallopian transfer, it is not zygote intrafallopian transfer, it is not in vitro fertilization. In vitro as in the laboratory condition this is happening. But basically, what is the best way, what is the most correct way of defining things? It will be artificial insemination. This will be the answer for this. Okay, so man is not naturally inseminating, it is artificial insemination that is happening over here. Cool. Chalo. Next. Match the column 1 with column 2. Surgical method. Which one is surgical method among them? Tubectomy is surgical method. What happens in tubectomy? This is all methods of contraception, okay? So over here, what happens in surgical method, children, the fallopian tube is being cut such that the ovum does not come. If the ovum is not there, the sperm would not be coming and fusing with it. So basically, ovum would come and stay at one particular point, after which it cannot move because the fallopian tube itself is cut. And fallopian tube is the place where the ovum and the sperm usually meets. So over here, if you block the road, then do you think that fertilization can happen? No. So that is a natural way of, that is a surgical way of contraceptive method. So A goes with R. So A goes with R. We have two options like that. We'll cut off these two options, eliminate these options. Now, barrier method. Barrier method as in you are making a wall that does not allow the sperm and the egg to fuse over here. So barrier method, in that comes the condom. So basically, when a woman or a male put a condom, they are not allowing the sperm and the egg to meet. It's acting as a barrier. Okay, so that is what you mean by barrier method. Apart from condom, you have diaphragms and stuff like that as well. Now, natural method. I told you right now, lactational amenorrhea, where a female, when she is lactating, she would not be having menstrual cycle. This is a natural method. If there is no menstrual cycle, you cannot expect, there is no menstrual cycle, that means there is no ovum release. If there is no ovum release, you cannot expect fertilization to happen as well. Okay, so this is totally natural method that we have. So B goes with P, children. B goes with P, and C goes with S. C goes with S. So we have to, hey, wait a second. Both the options are same. Let me change the options somehow. This is Q suppose, and this is S suppose. Okay, this one is Q and this one is S. Then can I delete it? B goes with P. Okay, C goes with S. C goes with S, that means this is the option. But let's see the next one. Chemical method. In chemical method, we are relying on hormones and stuff like that, basic chemicals like progesterone and stuff like that. So it becomes the pills. In pills, you have all this thing. So I'll say this is the correct answer. 2018 question. Okay, I hope you are able to revise your concepts with this. I would recommend you to have a read of NCERT and then solve these questions. It will be really good for you to have a boost of motivation. Okay, next thing, the following factors indicate improved reproductive health of the society. Choose the correct option. Okay, what suggests, what indicates the improved reproductive health of the society? When can you say that the society has good reproductive health? Better detection and cure of disease. Yes, we say it's good. Better postnatal care, as in when the baby is born, after that if we care them, that is a good indicator of having a good reproductive health. Then medically assisted deliveries. Okay, obviously earlier time people were randomly delivering even on the roads and stuff like that because they didn't have any resources which could help them, and that was not really good because it is not sanitized and things could happen. There could be chance of infection, people could die because of that. So that was not good. But over here, all these methods that you see over here, it shows that yes, the reproductive health of the society has been increasing or increased. Now, increased MMR. What do you mean by MMR? MMR stands for maternal mortality rate, as in the death rate of the mothers. Okay, if MMR is increasing, that means the reproductive health of the society is going down. If people are dying, obviously that means the reproductive health is not really good. So what are we left with? We are left with A, B, C. Okay, if you see A, B, C option here, you click that and that becomes the answer. This came in 2018. Okay, now the next question goes like this. Why is it not going? Okay. In India, the action plans for family planning were initiated in the year. So there was a need to talk about the family planning and things like that. So there was a committee being made for that, okay, where family planning and things were executed. In which year was it initiated? And there's one very important way to remember it. That's how I remember it. Okay, in 1951. And how do I remember it? I am not saying it's the best way to remember, but still. So over here, in the whole thing, in the whole family planning stuff like that, people were not asked to make so many kids. Okay, so 1 or 2 were fine. So basically 1 stands for that. I know that's a lame way to remember, but yeah, somehow if you want to remember, you can use that. So 1951 was the year. Okay, it ends with 51. It ends with 51. That was the year where this particular thing was initiated. This has come in 2017. This is a very direct question, and if you have some good ways to remember it, because when you deal with biology, you have so many years to remember. Especially when it comes to molecular basis of inheritance, where the scientists and everyone were doing a lot of researches. So that is why I came up with this. But yes, you can have your own idea. And suppose it is 1971. Just don't go for the one over here. You should be knowing it is 1951. 1951. Okay, cool. Chalo, next thing. Amniocentesis is one of the methods for, again, adapted for MTP. Of birth control, no. For fetal sex determination, yes. Used for safe parturition. Parturition as in the baby, when the baby moves out of the body. Okay, ejection. That is known as parturition. No, it's not for that. Actually, it is not for sex determination also. It was for finding the genetic disorders, but yes, people use it for sex determination as well. So let's rather say C is the correct option. 2016 question. Okay. Lactational amenorrhea. What do you mean by that? It prevents secretion of milk from breast, no children. That means the woman is lactating, and during this particular time she does not have a menstrual cycle on. Okay. Prevents conception, prevents secretion of prolactin, prevents spermatogenesis. It does not have anything to do with secretion of prolactin or spermatogenesis. During lactation, this particular hormone is really active, prolactin. So it does not prevent secretion of prolactin. That cannot happen at all. It will allow secretion of prolactin to happen. Prolactin only is the only one that allows lactation to go on. So the correct answer becomes prevents conception, because during this particular point of time, as I said, because of the hormones which are there in our body. Okay, because the imbalance that is being created in our body, which is why there won't be any menstrual cycle happening. If there is no menstrual cycling, there is no fertilization, there is no baby as well. But sometimes it fails also. So it has to be a really careful process, not a reliable method, even though it's natural. So lactational amenorrhea prevents conception. 2016 question. Going ahead. 18th question. Progestasert is an IUD. IUD as an intrauterine device, okay, which makes the uterus unsuitable and cervix hostile to sperms as they are. I told you they are IUD. Which type of IUD are they, children? It is hormone releasing IUD. Okay, which makes the uterus unsuitable and the cervix hostile. So over here you have the uterus, and this particular area, okay, this is known as the cervix, and then you have the vagina. So it is making the cervix hostile, as in it will make a mucus plug over there so that basically the sperm cannot enter, or it will make the uterus unsuitable for fertilization. Well, this happens because progestasert is an IUD, and this is a hormone releasing IUD. It releases progesterone, progestogen. Okay, it releases progestogen, that is the synthetic form of what? Progesterone, that is naturally released by our body. Cool. So there is a synthetic form, there is a natural form. We are talking about the synthetic form. So this progestasert is the one that releases progestogen, okay, which is a hormone that messes up with the conception. Cool. Works. Chalo. This came in 2015, and the same question that came initially also for LNG 20, that was also progestogen. Okay, it was not progestasert. Progestasert is the other one, but still both of them basically they are releasing progesterone, progestogen in the body. Okay, hormone, basically hormone, synthetic hormone. Chalo. Assisted reproductive technology, or I won't say hormone, it's a chemical. Okay, I would rather say it's a chemical. When it is naturally being produced, we say it's a hormone, but yeah, okay, fine. Since it is coming under hormone releasing IUD, you can go for that. Don't get confused. Assisted reproductive technology does not include what? Let's see what it does not include. Zygote extra fallopian transfer. Is there something extra over here? Yes. This term extra is extra. We do not need it. So this becomes something that is wrong. Zygote extra fallopian transfer. It's nothing like that. There is zygote intra fallopian transfer. Very, what's a lame question to be asked, but okay. Scoring question. Now, in vitro fertilization and embryo transfer, artificial insemination, gamete, intrafallopian transfer, all of them are a part of art, but zygote extrafallopian transfer is not something that is a part of art. Now, I might have said that it's lame question, but some people, when they do not have time, they just quickly read and they just make some mistakes over there. So over here, please understand the fact each term that you see is important and you have to find the correct one peacefully, okay, with patience. This came in 2015. Now, IUDs which are used by females are implanted under the skin and they release progesterone and estrogen. No children, they are not, they are implants. Implants are the one that are implanted under the skin. They are implants, okay. Act as spermicidal jellies? No, it does not act as spermicidal. Spermicidal as in to kill the sperms, jellies are being used, okay. That is not, IUD is not acting as nothing like that. Release copper ions in the uterus that increase phagocytosis of sperm, block the entry of sperm into the vagina. Into the vagina nothing can block, so basically it's not like that. IUD does not block, can be barrier method, but this is not IUD, okay. So release copper ions in the uterus that increase phagocytosis of sperm, this is correct answer. So I told you there is one type of IUD which releases what? Copper. And what does copper do? Copper messes up with the motility of the sperm. So for example, I always remember it like this, the sperm is there, it holds the sperm's tail and says that you cannot go. So basically phagocytosis of sperms, as in they kill the sperms in a general way, okay. So copper ions which are copper releasing IUDs, they release copper and they make the whole uterus unsuitable, and also they are responsible for phagocytosis of sperm, they kill the sperm, okay. So that is there. So any sperm that has gotten would not be able to go and fertilize. That's our main target. So that is intrauterine device, and that is copper releasing intrauterine device, like copper T, multi-load 375 and stuff like that. Works. Chalo, next question. Which one of the following causes population explosion? Population explosion as in too much, way too much, okay. So which one of those are going to cause population explosion? Decrease in infant mortality rate and increase in death rate. Decrease in infant mortality rate. Infant mortality as in the death rate of children. Infant as in children. Mortality as in death rate. Okay. So decrease in infant mortality rate, yes, it can lead to population explosion, but increase in death rate, no. Increase in death rate, that will lessen the chances of people, no, people are dying. So this is wrong option. Decrease in death rate, the death rate is decreasing. Maternal mortality rate and infant. Decrease in death rate, maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate. So mothers, children, no one is dying, and total decrease in death rate is also there. So that will obviously lead to population explosion. I am not saying that this should happen, okay, but you're asked about the options that you're given, okay. Next question. Decrease in infant mortality rate and decrease in the number of people in the reproductive age. If there is decrease in mortality rate, that will be leading to explosion. That will be leading to explosion. And decrease in the number of people in reproductive age, that is not a reason. If people of reproductive age are less, that means reproduction would not be happening. So that is wrong. If reproduction is not happening, you cannot go for population explosion. So that is wrong. Decrease in death rate, okay, fine, and increase in maternal mortality rate. Now again, mothers are dying. Mothers, increase in maternal mortality rate as in mothers are dying. But there is decrease in what? Death rate in general also. People are dying less. So that is also false. What do we have? This as an option is the correct option. Decrease in death rate, maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate. So everywhere the death rate is totally decreasing, which is why we say, yeah, population explosion can be taking place. So this becomes the correct answer. This came in 2014. And with this, I am ending the previous year questions from KCET. Now I took certain questions from where children, I took it from NEET aspect. So easy questions I have taken, so I want you to concentrate on this, okay. A developing fetus by amniocentesis. What was it? Okay, so which disease cannot be found? That was the question. Which disease cannot be found in a developing fetus by amniocentesis? So for example, I want to find the disease, but which of them I cannot find with the help of amniocentesis. So I told you amniocentesis is actually used for finding genetic disorders. For example, you have chromosomal issues or you have genetic issues, less Mendelian disorders, anything like that, you can find it out. Okay, but rest of the things you cannot find it out. Something that you acquire during lifetime, for example, typhoid, it is not a genetic disease. Jaundice, it is not a genetic disease. Okay, but when you talk about Down syndrome, you're talking about genetic disease. When you're talking about Klinefelter syndrome, you're talking about genetic disease. Both of these cases, there is problem in the number of chromosomes. Sex of the fetus, again, you're talking about the genetics. Again, the chromosomes are there involved. Over here, when you talk about jaundice, this has nothing to do with the genetic disorders. So this becomes your answer. This came in NEET. Okay, so which disease cannot be found in a developing fetus by amniocentesis? It will be jaundice. So I will be writing this properly because I know I have written it really bad. My handwriting is not actually bad, but I don't know why it comes like this on the board. Which disease cannot be found out in a developing fetus, like this. Okay, next question. Which of the following is incorrect regarding vasectomy? What do you mean by vasectomy? Where basically you are cutting the vas deferens. Okay, where you are cutting the vas deferens. So for that you have to understand the structure. So you have the testis. In testis you have testicular lobules. Okay, inside the testicular lobules you have seminiferous tubules, and the seminiferous tubules basically they give out something that is known as tubuli recti. So over here sperms are being made, we have to take it outside, we have to take it to the penis over there in the external genitalia. So over here tubuli recti comes together. Over here you have a structure like this which you call as rete testis. What do you call it? You call it rete testis. Now from the rete testis the sperm says I want to move out of this particular testis, I cannot stay over here. So it moves out with the help of something that is known as vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia, E stands for exit. Okay, it is vasa efferentia. Now from here it coils around, this whole thing comes and forms something which is known as epididymis. It forms something that is known as epididymis, and the epididymis would be later opening into something which is known as vas deferens. So in the case of vasectomy, you are going to make a cut over here and you are going to tie it such that the sperm which is made over here does not get transported towards the external genital organ. So which of the following is incorrect regarding vasectomy? No sperm occurs in seminal fluid. So what is seminal fluid? Basically when you go ahead, you have certain glands which will be releasing some fluid which is known as seminal plasma. So seminal plasma and the sperm together you call it as semen. So seminal plasma will still be released, but the seminal plasma, it won't come along with the sperm. There won't be any sperm in the seminal plasma. So which of the things is incorrect? No sperm occurs in seminal fluid, that is correct. No sperm occurs in epididymis, children. Can that be true? Epididymis over here, it will still make the sperm. The sperm is just not going ahead. So no sperm occurs in epididymis, that is wrong. Yeah, that is incorrect. Vasa differentiate is cut and tied. It is vas difference, so vasa differentiate is cut and tied, that is true. Irreversible sterility, yes. Can you reverse it? No, you cannot reverse it. It is irreversible sterility, as in it will be sterile. That person won't be able to make a child. Okay, so this is true. So B is basically the incorrect option that we are having over here. Works? Chalo. Next thing. Which of the following is incorrect regarding, again, I did something. Sorry. Okay. One of the following is not a method of contraception. Which one? Which one is not a method of contraception, children? Condoms, pills of combination of oxytocin and vasopressin, lipase loop and tubectomy. So tubectomy, in that you cut the fallopian tube, so that is a method of contraception. Condom is a barrier method. Lipase loop, I told you, it is an IUD. It is put inside the uterine. Pills of combination of oxytocin and vasopressin, there is no combination like that. If it was estrogen and progesterone, there was a combination like that. So this becomes the wrong answer. This is not the method of contraception. Works? Next question. Select the option including all sexually transmitted diseases. So you have to find in them which one has all of them as sexually transmitted diseases. STDs. So you have gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, gonorrhea, malaria, genital herpes. So malaria is not sexually transmitted. AIDS, malaria, filariasis, no. Malaria is not. Even filariasis is not sexually transmitted. Cancer, again not sexually transmitted. Syphilis it is. AIDS it is. So over here I have gonorrhea, syphilis and genital herpes. This is the one. GSG. Gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes. This is the one that is sexually transmitted, and also you have AIDS. But that is not in the option over here. These three perfectly matches, so we say this is the answer. Okay. Cool. Next question. Embryo with more than 16 blastomeres. Okay, we read that up to 8 it's fine, you put it in the fallopian tube. But if the embryo has more than 16 blastomeres, 16 cells, okay, due to in vitro fertilization, it is transformed into where? So you have an embryo with more than 16 blastomeres, where will you transfer it? In the fallopian tube, in the uterus, in the fimbriae, or in the cervix? It will be always the uterus. I told you until 8 or basically until 16 also it's fine, and you can put it in the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. But when it becomes more than that, okay, when you say more than 16, you cannot put it in the fallopian tube. Instead, you will be putting in the uterus. Cool? You will be putting in the uterus. Fine? Next question. Medical termination of pregnancy is considered safe up to how many weeks of pregnancy? It will be considered safe up to how many weeks? Weeks is asked. So we say 3 months are there. In 3 months, how many weeks will be there, children? 3 into 4, if you see, 12 weeks will be there. Okay. So I will say up to 12 weeks, it will be totally fine. 3 months of pregnancy, first trimester. 8 weeks is lower than that. We can say it can go up to 12 weeks, 3 months continuously. Okay. Next question. In which of the following techniques the embryos are transferred to assist those females who cannot conceive? So, in which of these methods are the embryos being transferred? Let's see. ZIFT and IUD. What do you mean by IUD? Intrauterine transfer. Okay. Intrauterine transfer, as in you are putting the embryo inside the uterus. That is what you mean by intrauterine transfer. Okay. And then ZIFT is also there. Okay, you have what? ZIFT, but over here what are you putting, children? You are putting the embryo. Chalo, let's next see. GIFT and ZIFT. GIFT is gamete intrafallopian transfer and ZIFT is zygote intrafallopian transfer. So anyways, gamete intrafallopian came, so I will say it wrong. ICSI and ZIFT. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection has nothing to do with the embryo thingy over there. So let's ZIFT and ICSI, again nothing to do. Over here the thing that matches would be this. Either you put ZIFT or you have IUD. ZIFT, as I said, it is zygote intrafallopian transfer, but sometimes you can say if the zygote has went more than, basically it's up to 8 blastomeres, still you are putting it in the fallopian tube. Over here you say yes, basically you are transferring embryo, not zygote, but again that is the most correct option that could be coming up here. In the intrauterine techniques also, okay, intrauterine transfer also, you are basically going to put embryo only. So this is obviously correct. So there is no other option which is as correct as this. So that is why we would be going with this particular option. I know it's confusing, but yeah. Okay. Next thing. A childless couple can be assisted to have a child through a technique called GIFT. The full form of this technique is gamete intrafallopian transfer. So gamete intrafallopian transfer is over here. This becomes the correct answer. So all these questions you solve from 22nd to 30 are all NEET level questions. Okay, but I put the easy questions over here because you have similarity between NEET level questions and the one that you find in KCET as well. Not all the questions, at least some questions. And now since I repeated one question like that, okay, I have to give you a question. So that question will be, which is that method? Question number actually 30th, or probably I will put it over here. The one that was getting repeated. Hey, nothing was getting repeated or what? So we had 21 and then 22, then 23, then this is the one that is repeated. So question number 24 I will write is as, which contraceptive method prevents sexually transmitted diseases? Which contraceptive method prevents sexually transmitted diseases? Your options are oral pills, surgical methods, natural method, and then you have condoms. Which one will be preventing sexually transmitted diseases? Sexually transmitted diseases are transferred with the help of body fluids. So your body fluids should not be coming in contact. So oral pills, they had nothing to do with the body fluids and stuff like that. Anyways, it can transfer. So this is not the correct answer. Surgical method, again, you're just cutting the vasectomy, the fallopian tube or the vas deferens. It has nothing to do with the sexual intercourse happening over here. Body fluids can still be exchanged. Natural method, again, over here also. There can be anything happening. Condoms are acting as a physical barrier, and condom is the only thing that will avoid this. It is acting as a physical barrier, my dear children. So for example, the penis is being covered by condom, so there is no exchange of the sexual fluid that is over here. Sexual fluid, or basically the body fluids. Okay, not sexual fluid, the body fluids which is being produced over here. That is, semen is not coming in contact with the female body, nor the female body's fluids are coming in contact with the penis over here, because it is covered by the condom. Okay, works? Cool. So this is not included. You can include this and you can try. So see how fast I made a question out of it. Similarly, you should also be making questions. How you can do it? Whenever you read NCERT's one paragraph, try to make as many questions as you can from that particular paragraph. It will help you understand what level and what type of questions could be coming in your day of exam as well. So I hope this particular video was helpful for you. If you think it was helpful, do not forget to subscribe to a small channel, that is Deeksha, Karnataka. And also do not forget to leave some comments if you have certain doubts, or if you think that you like the video as well. I'll be really happy to read your comments. So bye bye children. Take care.